Welcome back, Bandecfolks. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're here to hold it down for the underground sound here in Ontario, Canada. Make sure you're following, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. How you doing today? How you doing?
I'm good.
You okay?
I'm good. If you know, you know. I had an interesting day.
No, let's indulge. What happened?
So some guy just yelled in my face and pushed me down in downtown.
Which is insane. If you're out there shoving people and pushing them to the ground aggressively, out of nowhere, if you're just shrieking at people and throwing them to the ground, I don't know, man. We gotta do something about that. That's not. I went to the pumpkin patch today. I had a very good day. It's unfortunate that it's quite the juxtapose here, but went to the pumpkin patch with my son, and we had fun.
I guess for a full explanation, then if I'm going to get into it, I was actually texting you. But yeah, I was walking downtown, and there were so many people out setting up for the parade because it was right about to start. So I went down a way less busy street to get away from the crowds, and I was literally in the middle of texting you something for the show, and I just heard this blood curdling scream, and before I could even look up from my phone, someone had grabbed me by my shirt. I was wearing a tank top or whatever, and they just tossed me.
Which is so outrageous.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
And you said you had to piss, right?
Oh my god, I can't believe you. Yeah, so this guy, while he's pushing me, I'm so scared, and I'm just I can't piss myself too. This is fucking.
It's just gonna make things worse.
This is 11 a.m. by the way. This is 11, and this is how my day is at 11 a.m. Yeah, and so as I'm trying to get home, because I'm obviously a little shook up from what happened, the parade is making it totally impossible for me to get back to my house. So I'm every street I go down, it's blocked off. I have to piss so bad.
You were literally walking down to a street and a parade is cutting you off, and you're like, this is just impossible to enjoy right now.
I just want to go home.
There's marching bands, there's fucking Shriners driving around, and all you have to do is piss, and this parade is making it impossible. That's so crazy. Yeah, no.
That's what I was doing before this recording.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack to this happening to me, Eli Wells.
One of the local artists that we're gonna cover later on.
My
That's
god,
great. Yeah, no.
I'm glad you had fun at the pumpkin patch, though. I'm very sick. That sounds sick.
It was certainly less exciting. How much that goes in a pumpkin patch? We did all the free shit. We didn't even pay for we didn't go into the place where you have to pay. We just literally
They have a VIP, a very important pumpkin part.
It's
a VIPP.
It's what all the activities involved. You could go to the front part and buy a pumpkin at the place without having to get inside the place, having to pay admission to go and do all the fun stuff. And there's a market where you could get food. So that's literally all we did was we
What are my tax dollars going towards if you can't have fun at a pumpkin patch? I don't understand this. This is this is bullshit.
All right.
We're going to get into just a total heap of local releases. We filmed local releases 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago maybe, and we thought we had caught up. And this is quite the doc.
Oh, I know.
There's a lot.
Let's get into it.
Sewn has put out their new single, Fractured Anatomy. This was atmospheric, moody, and powerful. This is agonized sounding. This is a little more experimental, I think, than typically you would get out of a track like this. But it doesn't sacrifice anything that makes a good Sewn song at all.
I had the pleasure of playing with these folks last weekend, and I remembered this song specifically. Actually, it was about midway through their set. And they contextualized it a little bit. They said just before they played, this goes out to anyone who's ever lost anyone. This song is about someone who's not with us anymore. And I don't know. I'm sure people of the show who know this, but if you don't, Tyler and I, some of our best friends when we were like 20, 23, passed away. Both Joey Silva and Brody Williamson. And a lot of the time how we coped mainly with stuff was just like music and like making music and like playing music at shows. I mean, there were some other things that were happening there that we helped cope, but that is neither here or there. But yeah, and you know, music and being around them is just like, it felt like such a great way to kind of heal. And that's what I actually specifically remember about the loss of our friends, was it was having this like family who not only like kind of saw music on the same level, but was going through like a same traumatic experience. And that just brought me back. The song brought me back to that time, and it actually brought me a tear to the eye when I was watching that, because like I immediately connected with that. It was something that I could like really get into. Yeah, the song is like that can really conveys that emotion too, through the lyrics. And the deep ambient instrumentals. I like that like pause and that like chuggy part in the middle of the song that kind of like drops. Like, it's really cool.
It's that like sort of like rising style track, you know what I mean? And there's like a really good payoff in it when it comes to loss and having that contextualized. It's like, it sounded really sad and really angry at the same time, you know what I mean? It was able to convey like both of those things. The vocal delivery was like really compelling on it. Just makes you want to be out there at a show throwing some like tear-soaked haymakers and like, yeah, like I just love when like things like this, it's like so deeply personal to the people who wrote it. So like you can imagine like even just at this song existing and the writing process and playing it, you know, it's a cathartic experience to, you know, overcome loss, like you were saying too. So it's, you know, it's beautiful that you can know that a piece of art exists that's like provided people healing. It's really cool. That's a really cool way of looking at it that I just came up with. So yeah. Shout out to me.
Toronto street-style hardcore veterans in Northern Hit Squad released their EP Violence is Golden. We reviewed the self-titled track off this EP, but we're excited to announce that the full release is out and available on all platforms. Tyler, I don't know who Darius is, but I think they should just join the band at this point, because they're on like, I think, half of the songs on this EP, which was cool. I want to point that out, that's awesome. And of age where like Pain of Truth just dropped their record, and like all the features are on this. Like, it's becoming almost like a rap record where you got all these features and stuff. Like, I think that's super cool. And this EP was like super heater. Like, it's like that street style. Kind of reminds me of like Biohazard, kind of like, it was really kind of like to the bone hardcore.
It's like out on your block, like dealing out mosh parts. It's like hey, get over here. You want a little two-step riff? You want a little breakdown? I like how like Hetfield-y a lot of the vocal delivery is. This is definitely Metallica core. It reminds me of the band This Is Hell a lot. Like that beautiful Black Mass balance they hit. Like, of just like like literally Metallica if they were like a punk band is what that always felt like. Like, I just love that. And then the song Isabella is like, I love, like, there's so few bands that can like I think Comeback Kid's one of those special bands that can just write a straight punk song in the middle of their hardcore album, and it's just like super sick. And this is exactly what that felt like. It's like a crust punk song.
Yeah, there's a lot of punk elements actually to this record. It's like, it's got Oys to the burning cop car on the front of the record. For me, I was getting a lot of that punk influence. It kind of reminded me of like Rancid with breakdowns, or as if like maybe like if you took the Dropkick Murphys members and made them play Bury Your Dead songs. Like, that's kind of like what it kind of gave me.
Yeah, the song Freedom. It sounds like power metal singing being done by like a power violence vocalist. Like, there's actually so much going on this record, and it might not be immediately obvious on a first listen, but like there's a lot of like, this is like a punk potluck. Like, this was super cool. This rules. Speaking of rules and Blakendom, Ethereal Tomb, political doomcore band, they have put out a crispy new record, When the River's Dry. This is crushing music that's made for the societally dissatisfied. This is like punk with a purpose, which is like always a big win for us here on this show.
I know this is a serious release and all, but the very beginning track sounds like Tom Brady. I don't know who that is talking.
Like the speech?
Yeah, it's not Tom Brady, but it sounds like him. But no, this 3-piece band perfectly blends like doom and hardcore like effortlessly. They're often seen playing with hardcore bands. Their merch is kind of like that. Their aesthetic is very hardcore, but these songs are very like doomy and like heavy, and it's obviously about like I don't know if I'm speaking in a line, but it's about like indigenous folks who have been slaughtered and enslaved.
Various different issues, yeah,
and
very very little politeness on the topic, which is something I really really like. Like they sound pissed off about it, in like a way that should literally cause you like introspection. Like,
absolutely, it's just like this like pissed off groovy train that just like stops at nothing until everything is destroyed in its path. And that riff in the title track of this fucking record it was caught in my head like for days. Like that it is such a catchy riff, but it is so simple. Like it gets the job done. And we'd love to see it. And Ethereal Tomb, we'd love to get you on the show. We'd love that.
Yeah, it's super like authentic art. That's one of the things I really like about it. Lyrics are again super blunt, like we were talking about. It's like a real outcry from like a genuine lived perspective. Way the like distorted tones are like crunchy and like bricked out. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's very like bricky sounding. Like I don't know how to explain it. It sounds like you're getting hit into a wall.
London, Ontario Chaos Kings just released their 3rd EP, properly titled 3. This was scary, punishing, just all around destructive. The vocals are layered with those high and lows, so they sound like we're capturing like a possessed orc demon would sound like. This like just like it's crazy. The samples in the intro that are being played really set the tone for how haunting this whole EP is going to be. It's absolutely chaos. It's like it's other way. I can't. It's like mathcore at times. It's metal. It's chuggy, but like all together, like you're gonna leave what I feel like. You know how like in a cartoon when a bomb goes off and after it's gone off, everyone's black and their hair's all up. That's exactly how you're left after hearing Old Way.
Yeah, the vocalist, the way things are layered is like, like the Evil Dead movies when like you'll hear the person's voice and the demon's voice at the same time.
We're all going to die tonight.
That's what it sounds like to me. Like guitars and bass are mixed really, really well together too. They give like every sort of chug like just a big, big weight. It's just like, it's just like absolutely disgusting sounding. Super cool. So Steel City's Bad Bet dropped a promo release. This is bright and badass. Both these tracks are so good. This is just pure like mosh focused hardcore, my favorite type. Lots of chugs, lots of power chords, anthemic vocals, and I think that I'm really excited to hear more fight on site stuff as we go. Because Kennedy already sounds way more ferocious on this track. I like the sort of stop and go after she's done, too. Like, that's just going to go off so well live.
My homie, Andy Demetrician, former Hellbenty, current reality denier, recorded this release. It's, featuring two head bobbers of tracks. Love these songs. Like you said, Kennedy cut through like a knife. Loved that. I loved how dancey this release was. Like it was like I feel like I could see myself dancing. Like there was almost a moment to do every it was groovy. It was great like that. And you gotta love the distorted Biggie track at the very end, right? How could you not go with like the pitch down and distorted? Like you love that. You love to see it. Another Andy Demetrician special cooked up for this release. Toronto Violent Brutalists, in Spirit of Vengeance, have their brand new 2023 promo out. This band is all about the violence, like in their pits. Like I've seen a bunch of their clips live. It looks like fun if you're into that. I would never go near that pit. You catch me hiding underneath one of the merch tables. It's all about having fun. It's like at the end of the day, like hardcore is very much about having fun when you're moshing, and mosh pits can be violent, and a lot of people who go into that know that. So it's like, obviously, I'm joking here, but like this is a band to do that too, and that's exactly how their songs are sort of built around. They did a fucking Shattered Realm cover, which is super cool. Like, and that's what I also was getting in some of their tracks too. They're like almost paying a homage to that older metalcore, but they're really blending in like that aggressiveness. The vocals are raw, like they're super cool, and proper beatdown band.
Yeah, this is like violence incarnate. This is like music written for like pro wrestlers to walk out to. like it's so just like, or like you played at like monster truck rallies. It reminds me of like early Winds of Plague, but like way, way better. God, that first song when that 808 hit happens and they just drop this shit on your ass, like it's so good. The drums are crazy. The kicks sound thicker than most kick drums that I hear. Just these a meaty ass kick. This is like shit, like brawl music. Like this is like violent. It just sounds violent. It makes you want to be violent. It's fucking awesome. Ottawa post-hardcore outfit Carissa, they have an EP out featuring this last song we covered. This is super sick. This is like, they're not necessarily the band I thought they were when we first checked them out, because the song Clear the Bench is like a Trapped Under Ice song. Like it's like it's like if Trapped Under Ice had the vocalist of From Autumn to Ashes. Like that's like the drummer vocalist, the cooler one in my humble opinion. It was awesome. Yeah, it reminds me of like Undermined. It was like the songs after that. Like there's two middle songs that are longer, and then they have like syncopated chug riffs and like emotive leads. They sound like From Autumn to Ashes songs, which I like, but like then the last song is like just this like anti-cop song called Long Pig, and it's like, it reminds me of the Warriors. Like it just straight up reminds me of the Warriors. Like it's like this band, like I went into it like oh, Carissa's back on here, and like I will be listening to Long Pig on a daily basis. Like that song goes so hard. I love a band that can jump between two styles like this, like so well. So
this band covered a lot of ground with their songs. Like when we were covering them, we thought they were like kind of like that font, like From Autumn to Ashes, like MySpace core kind of thing. Like I think I even referenced like Skinny Jeans and whatnot. I think they did some really cool stuff in this record. Yeah, shout out to Carissa. Montreal style beatdown No Hope X Mankind released a single called Gun à Clau, which means nail gun. I love that Montreal is becoming like a blooming place for like hardcore. There's so many things happening, which is like growing that, putting on shows, and that's what like they put on those like shows underneath bridges. I don't know if you've seen those footages about that. Like it's really cool. It's badass as shit. What I liked about this was like you hear about like Spanish hardcore, and you even hear about like Japanese hardcore bands, but like you rarely hear about like French hardcore bands, which was like a new interesting take on this. Like you could hear the Quebecois and like the vocals, especially in that like speech, and at the very end, those vocals are so heavy. Like like you love the wrestling clip at the beginning and the Mortal Kombat fatality. Like there's a punishing riff.
Oh, the samples were so sick. The samples did so much to like color the song as it's going. It felt like modern like trap metal shit, but like not at all. Like it just, again, it had it definitely passed like the real recognize real check. The high vocalist, like the high, whoever was doing that was like my favorite vocalist out of them. And again, the juxtaposition between the like when they would like have the low vocalist come in, like it sounded like he had 808s in his throat. Like it was like he sounds like 1,000-foot demon. Like I think that was like Crossover N5, I think his name is, and it felt like industrial in a way. It's like it felt like the Nine Inch Nails was on the brain somehow. I love this shit. Merci beaucoup. Ça de bien. Pourquoi mon vache c'est fini?
Are you just saying French phrases? Like
comme ci comme ça. On this show, I'm constantly walking away with new favorite bands, okay? I know they're going to be in my rotation regularly, and I cannot, for the life of me, begin to explain how much I like this Just Right EP. I love the tone on the vocals. It's like really chaotic in a way that I really like. Like his voice is just like so his authentic voice that he uses is just so cool for the vibe of these songs. I love the mix. I love the snare. I love the way that their guitarist writes songs. They have such a flow to them. I love how weighty the bass feels. I love how this band just like has like a charisma that I can't explain. Like I don't just mean the vocals, like everything about this band, like every part is catchy at the same time. It's charismatic. I want to hang out with the record. Like I wish the record was a person I could hang out with. And the song Welcome to Hell is one of the only songs I've ever heard, Phil, in my entire life. I swear to God. Where I genuinely wish it was a little bit longer, just because the way that second half of that song hits, you could play that at me for 10 minutes and I just keep having fun. I love this band. I absolutely love this band.
Yeah, Chatham County hardcore coming at you. Like those are the homies, Tanner, Ryan. They're doing cool things. I love that ping, like you said, that snare is pingy, ping, kind of just sounds like you just smacked a golf ball. Early turnstile vibes, like with those kind of like, I don't know, talky, cleaning vibe, like vocals. I don't know how to put like yeah. And then you've got like the feature with Die Alone coming in, and like how they said like Die Alone, and then jumps in with Scion. Like I love that.
There's another song that does that we've covered. It's like a thing with Die Alone, which I really like.
Oh, I think it's Rust. Rust did that too. Yeah,
or is it the single?
You're totally right.
Rust did it. Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah. Rust did it. It says I won't die alone,
and then he comes.
That's so cool. What I thought was funny was the last track 222. I was like that's their area. That's got to be their area code. I googled it.
Okay.
But it's not. But Ty, Google it right now. What does the 222 area code mean?
That's an area code that comes from Mauritania, a country in Africa. They're hoping you'll call back because calls to that area code can bring up big charges like a 900 number. So if you get one of these calls, ignore it. Well, sure.
So it's not.
Well, could it be like in this song they say something about like the time being 222 before they go into that like super sick like riff? I also know that's like the angel number or something. I'm not like a numerology guy. But it would be interesting if they were referencing this African area code. Maybe they have like stakes in the scam.
Maybe. Yeah,
getting paid. They're in the pockets of deep scammer.
Or they wrote a diss track about it.
Yeah, one of them got massive charges.
All right, Welland garage pop rock band Big School have their fourth release entitled "Don't Cry, I'll Be Right Back." It's very poppy driven, but it's like I was getting like Weezer Blue album at times. Other times I was getting like Beach Boys. This band has members of Wildside and Single Mothers.
Are the dudes in Single Mothers in every band? Is that how that works? Like
it's Riley specifically jumps around. Riley's even played in Wildside, but doesn't play permanently in Wildside. Like I've seen Riley perform for a lot of cool bands, and that's why I peppered in Single Mothers. But it's crazy. These seasoned musicians really packed a doo-wop punch with this release. I could definitely see myself laying on the beach listening to these tunes. I was getting like I could see them playing with like Waves and like Fiddler. Like every song kind of has like a baked-in catchy chorus that I always found myself returning to. Something about this release just radiates positivity. I don't know how anyone could be in a bad mood listening to these tunes. I guess what I'm just trying to say is this is the most Californian release to come out of Canada. All the bands that I've referenced are coming from LA. So I don't know. This was a very like summertime vibes, sitting in the sun kind of record.
It felt like almost like punk light. You know what I mean?
I like that punk.
Yeah,
punk light.
Yeah, LIT. It has like a slightly psychedelic feel to it. I think it's just the reverb they use. But it just does something to give it like a bit of like just a little smackle of like stoner feeling to it. I really like how like almost every refrain on this release is very repetitive, like just saying the same thing over and over again. And I'm starting to realize the instant like hookiness and stickiness that gives your music. The lyrics are super down to earth. This kind of reminds me of like Wheatus. Like teenage dirtbag, not in the vocal delivery. That was always odd. But like the guy from Wheatus, from what I understand, like was like responsible for like ghostwriting like so many like big songs back in the day, and that was just like his like passion project. But yeah, like that. It just reminds me of that like that era of like the late '90s, the early 2000s, where like pop rock was like so popular. Lemon Sour and Can't Control My Heart ended up being my two favorites, and I really actually like how well they sequenced into each other, like the calm song and then right into one of the faster punk songs. I'm a fan. This is sick. Welland metalcore champions, us alike. They brought out like a posse single. This is Distortion. She got Craig from Sky Caught Fire and Dakota from
Mindswell.
That's from Mindswell. See, I'm so glad to have that contextualized. Man, that's another band that I fucking love, actually. Shout out Mindswell. Didn't know the name of the singer, but don't matter because I like the music. But yeah, I like the Robot Buddha album artwork. That's super sick.
Yeah.
I like how pessimistic the lyrics are, especially at the very beginning. I like how chonked out the guitar is. I love the bounce riff that's being used throughout this song. Like, just a nice, modern metalcore bounce riff. And yeah, I like the idea of what this is going to be like live. Like, I love the idea of this posse cut. Like, I love the idea of having them all on the same bill and getting to get this moment. It's sick.
It reminds me, do you ever remember the band Skip the Foreplay?
No.
So they had a song, I can't remember what it was called, but it was featured. So they're like a Montreal-based band, and they had 3 features in it. They had the dude from Despised Icon, the dude from Blind Witness, and the dude from Blessed by a Broken Heart, all on one track. And it was all about Montreal, like, represent. And this is exactly what I was getting from this. Yeah. It was just like hometown represent. It's like good marketing. Like, Dakota just knocks our ass out, like, midway through, and then like Craig picks us all up together, like when he whips us right off our fallen feet. It would really be cool to see them live, to come up and like do all those things. Yeah, and of course it was wrapped nice with a little breakdown at the end, like just with a nice little bow at the end. So yeah, Us Alike always delivers, and yeah, hometown heroes. That's what we like to hear.
This is gonna go off live.
Just when you thought Andy Demetrician was done recording all the hardcore bands that you thought of, Steel City Hardcore Band, built on blood, comes crashing through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid.
With these menacing 7-minute release, with a guitar tone that's crunchier than Captain Crunch cereal in the morning, the juxtaposed between the vocals and the tone. I love that. Those vocals are super aggressive in the sense that they're super, like, they're not super growly, but they're like tough sounding. Like they like you feel like you're about to get your ass kicked when you're listening to the song. This is great. This was just a great release. I listened to this track right when I got off work, or these tracks, and like I just thought it was like super cool. Like, it kind of reminded me of like, this is Steel City's version of like Tsunami. They're like, you're 100% gonna get called a bitch if you don't see this band live. Like, Ontario Hardcore came through with this, and another pit that I would not be caught near.
Yeah, this is a band that can put out like a I Survived a Built on Blood show.
Yeah.
And like, and it's like, you're like, that makes sense. This is like hate drenched power violence. It just sounds like power violence, but like the guy hates you more somehow. Like, it's this totally passes the real recognize real test too. This just feels hip hoppy to me. This just feels sort of street to me. I actually had my OGs down in the lab. We analyzed the EP. they've certified this a instant hood classic. And this, like, the demo mixing on this makes it sound like a brick shithouse. Like, it's, like, so bricked out sounding in such a good way. Like, and the vocals are just, like, raspy. They have that, like a little of that trapped under spice, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I love the samples being used transitionally through tracks. Couldn't pick a favorite on this one if I tried.
Yeah.
Toronto Shoegazers, 7th Dose, dropped 2 singles. We got Drift, we got Immerse. This is off of their upcoming release, Delirium. This is shoegaze played at like a slightly faster BPM. Than you typically get, I'd say, you know what I mean? You typically hear gaze used in a lot of like doom and like slower project, emo project, stuff like that. So it's really refreshing to hear it used in a bit more of like a just like straight up punk direction. I love how buried the vocals are, super floaty and atmospheric feeling. To quote you, it sounds like a ghost could be singing this song. I totally believe it if their vocalist was a ghost. This is quick and haunting. This is music for punk witches.
Yeah. They're part of the Wormwood Records alumni, which is great. Which
shout out Wormwood Records.
Yeah, shout out Josh Wicken specifically, who like is the person behind Wormwood. They've got such a crazy roster behind their belt, and they're doing such cool things. They're pressing records, which isn't like an easy thing to do. These singles by 7 Dose were super cool. Drift like yanked me in an involuntary, unapologetic like ride, reminiscent of like Turnover at times. Like I could see that piercing lead just cutting through like that last chorus. It was super good. It all feels like 90s grunge inspired with like older shoegaze, but it still feels like new and refreshing. I could easily see myself swaying back and forth, just like the teenagers from the Lollapalooza episode of like The Simpsons, where they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just swaying at the end. This release was so heavy, my neck nearly fell off my head. This was Consuming Misery with Organ Rot and Reanimated Cadaver. Even the like artwork was super haunting with like it was almost like an old Cannibal Corpse record looking thing. It was like obviously somebody had drawn it, like it wasn't like somebody like made it. I don't know, it was super cool. I love these tracks, especially knowing that they were just like demos, like they weren't like the full versions of like what you're gonna hear. It was just 2 songs to get this band kind of like up and running. And yeah, super heavy. I loved what like I'm deeming at the end of Organ Rot a death beat, where it was just like like where it's kind of like staccato with the drums, but it's not like it's more of like it's in like a breakdown style, but it's not being played like a breakdown, if that makes sense. I also love that the band is very self-aware of like the vocals are completely incoherent. It's death metal as fuck, like as it should be. Those deep growls are like reminiscent of like a snoring sleeping giant. Like they're just like that massive sound again. Yeah, I can't wait to catch this band live and hear them more like in like a polished live setting.
Super heavy, super deathy, super blackened. Sick. Speaking of all those things, Tomb Mold, Toronto Juggernauts. I had no idea that this band was from Toronto until like pretty recently.
Oh yeah.
This is their 5th full-length release. The Enduring Spirit. I feel like they turned the brutality down a little bit on this one, but it really gave me like much more of like Alaska or Silent Circus Between the Buried and Me, or like maybe even like super early Opeth. Yeah, this was definitely more proggy than I was expecting. It still has a lot of like big moshy moments and like super like brutal fast parts. Flesh is a More reminded me a lot of like a Despised Icon song, because it just had that like huge deathy 2-step part in it. And I've always found that like crazy techie stuff, that's always been like my stoner music. Like that's like the type of music where I just want to get like blitzed and just like totally envelop myself and just like lay there with my eyes closed and get like a sense of like synesthesia from it, where you're like almost like in, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like where you're just like laying there and you're so high and you feel like you can literally like feel like the notes and shit. Like super techie metal has always been like my go-to for like those rare moments
Interesting.
where I just want to be like stoned off my ass and just taking in like a body feeling type of music. It's not reggae for me. It's not like surf rock for me. It's brutal tech death.
It's like the furthest thing. Like it's just like, yeah, that's funny. You know, it's funny that you said Between the Buried and Me, because yeah, this is a more proggy side of the band that we've seen. This is a death metal band at its like finest. Like their Tomb mold, the releases before, like, and we like to see that. Like obviously growth is important with the band. You don't want to hear the same record 5 times. So I was really excited to hear when we started off this record, like where we were going with these songs. There's like leads, there's like the double kicks, and like what I found awesome about this record was like it covered a lot of ground in the sense they're like, if you're a fan of metal, this is a good suggestion for a band, because you could be like, it's got everything. It's got all the double kicks. I think the only thing it really didn't have for maybe like an average metal fan is like clean vocals, which is fine. Like that's not what this record needed. It was different from what we have heard Tomb Mold do before, but like it's still Tomb Mold. It was a great record. This was a full length. Yeah,
it was compelling.
Hamilton indie alt rock Eli Wells came out with an LP called The Big Heirloom, which was the soundtrack to your attack today.
Yeah, that's great.
I like the album cover with the Cadillac sinking in the sand.
It's really cool.
But the way that they like did that art style was like almost in a very relaxing way. But like if you think about it, like that would not be a relaxing thing to see, like a car stick out like that. But like I also noticed, I know I'm focusing a lot on the artwork here, but I also noticed like it kind of looked like it was made in MS Paint, but it was actually like done well. And
the blocky, surreal, sort of like simple. It's super cool. Yeah, no, I was a huge fan of the art too.
But yeah, no, sorry, the music was cool too. Obviously,
like,
of
course,
it was like relaxing. Like the artwork kind of presented itself in the same way. Like it was relaxing. But there were some songs that like if you dove into the lyrics, they had like deeper meanings. But if you were just listening to it like passively, like maybe you weren't catching. Like it had these cool like backbeats to it. It kind of reminded me of like the Talking Heads, like an old '80s band. There was like country stuff that was inspired at moments. Like lots of different ways that like, we covered also a lot. Like a lot of ground was taken on this, and Eli Wells.
Yeah, the songwriting in this reminds me of like when you hear about like the Beatles like writing during their like psychedelic phase, like the more didgeridoos sort of idea, like just like how like fun it would be to like be in like a writing room like that. Yeah, all these songs are about like what seem like simple sort of weird topics, but there's obviously like Shrek oniony levels of like layers going on here. It's like Americana folk country, but it feels more playful than that. The vocals feel like theatrical, but in like a subdued way that doesn't feel like it's like really like subdued theatrics. It's very interesting. It all feels subtle. It's like the country elements feel subtle. And I feel like this and like Sleepy Jean that we talked about before, like this vibe where you hit Western, not country. Like I love this shit. Like it's like Americana, like folk rock. Like I never would have guessed that this would be like a genre of music that I'd like so much. And I typically hate duet shit, by the way. Like I hate duetting shit. Like, but I usually find it very corny, very corny. But on this release, I liked it. This features singer and songwriter Amber Banks and Nolan Gibson. So I don't think they have anything out on Spotify necessarily that I'm aware of under their just like basic names or anything. But they give amazing performances on here. Yeah, this was stellar, man. This was so cool. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I also got assaulted to it. But the thing about that was, and you know what? It was interesting because at one point I remember I literally had this thought, Phil, where I was like, well, now I'm bummed out because like whatever song I got assaulted to is going to be like ruined for me. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it and I'm just immediately going to think about that moment. I managed to get assaulted in the 2 to 3 second window between a song transition. And I remember thinking, oh, good. Well, at least this isn't ruined for me. So, Niagara emo rock band, 1000 Times Goodnight, put out a self-titled song. They did that aesthetic thing I like where you just take the spaces out. I like that. I'm just a sucker for that. I don't know why. This is like just a beautiful Midwest emo track. It's not trying to hide anything. That's what it is. This is a Midwest emo song. The guitar sounds great. It sounds so nice on here. Vocals cut through really, really well. Once again, the mix in general on this song is like really, really good, and it's like a sad song. Reminds me of like the chaos of like an on again, off again relationship. And I'm always a big sucker for like hyper specific lyrical use, like referencing like the drink you're drinking and the friend you're hanging out with, like. It feels, it's what I liked about like the Wonder Years when I first heard them. It felt like they were the first band to ever like do that I heard. It just makes the song seem like, instead of being, you can still write a song that feels like universal, but like something about those touches just make it feel so personal as well.
To echo a lot of what you're saying, like very relatable, because like I think everybody's had a bad relationship. Like I think that's something everybody can almost relate to. Like almost it's how we grow as people. Like everybody in high school's got something, and like it is what it is. You're young at that time, and like I don't know. That's what I thought. It was just so accessible, and like again, Midwest emo. The instrumentals tell you that everything is kind of okay, while the lyrics are like dragging you through this like sad thing. Like that's what I really liked, like that juxtapose of like Zoe singing, and like it's kind of like it's like uncomfortable feeling that you're being like told like you're through this like relationship, and like but you're having like these pretty like song being played in the background that's kind of telling you everything's okay. So like maybe sometimes you're at a party and you're maybe with your partner that you just had a fight with, and you're just pretending like you guys are okay, like something like that, you know what I mean? That's like I mean, maybe I'm looking further into it, but like regardless, I love this song. This was super cool. I really like this band. This is the second single. Like we only got 2 songs from this band out. Obviously, like they've played live, so they have a full set. But like to hear these 2 songs, like I just can't wait to hear a full release from them.
Yeah, I also want to point out that I really like the vocal layering at the end of the song, where they have both of her tracks playing over each other.
Yeah, it's like,
sounds totally awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Blink-182 like that one song where they got like 4 of them singing at the same time, and like I really liked that, where they and I enjoyed that as well.
This is like such a cool band.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of cool bands,
St. Catharines punk rockers Chub and Grimsby fuzz rockers Daze Away have a split together where they do the switcheroo thing and they cover each other's songs. I love when a band does that. I don't think I've ever heard a release that happens like that, where it's been bad. All the songs on this release were great renditions of each other's songs. I think hearing Chub do like more a melodic version of their punk rock, and like hearing Daze Away leaning into like the funk like punk rock, like it was really cool. I think more bands should do this. I think honestly more bands should be doing the whole switcheroo thing, because like I think you can learn and take away from a lot.
Yeah, I fucking love this. I loved this. I absolutely love this. I want more bands to do this. I'd like to hear Mushroom Valley do this with Over It. I think that would be really ambitious and confusing. So when I first started listening to this, I genuinely started to think immediately that this might be like a one-sided thing for me. Because like for me, Days Away, it felt like they were cleaning up the song Monk Punk in a way, right? Like slowing the BPM down, making it a little more bright. Chub's version of Air Japan is so fucking good. It's so good. It's so fun. It immediately takes Days Away sound and just chubs it up. Yeah. It's so unbelievable. Like that band has such a good idea of what they are in a way that that might sound obvious to people who don't write music, but that's not an easy thing to do. You can be in a band for 10 years and not really have a clue of what you're really trying to accomplish sonically or image wise. Like they just have such like a strong identity, like the Oys, like turning it into like an Oi punk song with Days Away kills Mom Jeans, Chub kills OTDF. I want every band in Niagara to start doing this. The very strongly incentivize and encourage more bands to do shit like this.
Toronto funcore punk band, Pkew Pew Pew, like Pew Pew. Actually, I was wondering how this is. Like, is it Pew Pew Pew, or is it Pew Pew Pew? Like, there's different ways you can. I mean, it's all about the tone, but anyway, Pew Pew. And I think they added the Q just to make it like so it wasn't the word
Pew!
like Pew 3 times, like Pkew Pkew. Like it makes more sense. Anyway. Toronto funcore punk band, Pkew Pkew Pkew. You gotta have the.
That's how you say it.
Yeah. Released their full length, or a full length, Sick Daze with the 3 eyes. This was like mariachi horns on the last track. It was great. This was super cool.
This is just like so personality driven. It's so that sort of vibe that like bands like the Wonder Years and the Front Bottoms give, where like
Pup.
like. Yeah, but even like, you know what, Pup's a better example of even what I'm trying to say, because like the songs on here are about such literal, like hyper specific things, like especially that song we covered before about getting your PlayStation back from the guy. I know you did something happened, but there's some fast punky songs on here. They slow it down a bit, like they stick to a formula, they speed it up sometimes, they slow it down other times, but like the formula they have is like using a good catchy instrumental bass to push forward this like fun sort of sardonic, sarcastic, well written, super relatable like punk music. Everyone will find a song on here that they find super relatable. This is a special band. This is a fun ass band.
They're hyper aware of like, let's have fun with the band and like let's make fun punk music about silly things. Like let's get into it.
Yeah, shout out Stomp Records and shout out Pkew, Pkew, Pkew. So Toronto Cowboys, Ransom Child. I'm just hearing about this band for the first time. They put out a new song called Reaper. This is like an outlaw country song, I think. I'm not that well versed in country, but it's like soaked in like this like punk vibe. There's slide guitars. There's like this like really well performed and just great sounding acoustic like throughout the verses. There's like a gritty sort of delivery to the vocals, but it all just feels like punk to me. It feels like the type of song that would play during like a trailer to like a cyberpunk western. Like it's super. I liked it a lot. Like I liked it. I liked it more than I was expecting to when the first few seconds came in. It has like a super strong refrain on it. This was sick. Maybe I could like country. Maybe I genuinely could like country.
It's funny that you said cyberpunk western, because I was gonna say like Red Dead Redemption, but like with more like a punk undertone. It had that like outlaw. There's like anthems. Like it was cool. And then you gotta love the slide guitar. That just kind of makes you feel like you're home on the range. You know what I mean?
Thank you for checking out the local releases with us, guys.
That's